Hey everybody, it's Mike Lowe. Time for my commentary on Alone Season 2, Episode 6. This time I'm just going to do it right here in my spacious, comfortable RV. Well, let's get started. So the episode starts off with me finding the perfect toilet seat out there. Man, you can't imagine, I suppose, how big a deal that was to just have a comfortable place to sit and go to the restroom. Man, I went for 3 days constipated. I was starting to worry that I was going to have to do an enema. I actually set it all up. I found some bull kelp, and it was just the right length and width and whatnot, that I filled it up with water and I had it all in place. But finally I was able to have a bowel movement, did not have to do the enema. Wasn't looking forward to that at all. Finding that tub was huge, this big black plastic tub. It was made out of the same kind of material that they make kayaks and canoes out of. It. Very strong, durable. Man, it was amazing. So that I built the boat with the outriggers and then launched it. You'll notice that I had a rope tied to it, one of my 150 footers, just in case that first launch out didn't go well. I'd be able to pull myself back to shore. You'll see that I was wearing a life jacket, and that was required as one of the safety precautions for the show. And having that boat opened up new horizons and doors that weren't available to me before that. On a boat I could go out and fish deeper waters and get larger fish. I could also set up the gill net in better locations. And in addition to that, I could haul firewood from the other side of the cove. I was starting to run out of firewood on my side. Having the boat also allowed me to explore new places, to find new sources of food. I didn't have salmon and crab in my cove, and I really wanted them. With the boat, I was now able to go out and find those places and harvest that food. There were other plants out there that did not exist in my cove. I was going to be able to go around to new places and gather up new plants and mushrooms. I was really looking forward to all of that. However, traveling outside of my protected cove meant exposing myself to strong tides and possibly being lost out at sea. That kind of had me worried, and so I was very, very, very careful about how I went out onto the water with that boat. I brought my GPS, a survival kit in case I got washed away and had to survive on shore. I had it all figured out. Having that boat was fantastic. I hope that they show more and more of what I've done with it so that you guys can see. I did some other things with that boat, with that big black tub, before I turned it into a boat, and I hope they'll show that in upcoming episodes. You're going to really like what I did with it before I made a boat out of it. So Larry's profanity and anger, kind of interesting, sort of sad, but in a weird way entertaining. And it's just how Larry is. He'll get mad fast, get over it quick, regroup and move on with what he's doing. And that's pretty impressive that he could do that. He's not the kind of guy who will just let that anger build up inside and then explode and do something foolish or illegal, And I appreciate that about Larry. He's real, he's raw, and he's definitely entertaining. I don't get angry like that myself. If things aren't going right, I'll just stop, take a minute to breathe, and usually I'll just understand that Jesus is in control. He's allowing this to happen for reasons that make sense to him. He doesn't have to explain it to me. I don't have to figure out why he's allowing things to play out one way or the other. I'm all right with it. I'll just go with the flow, make changes as I can, and take a different tact and come at it from a different angle or a different approach to get the job done. You know, and for me, being angry and cursing and throwing things, it just doesn't work for me. Instead, just thanking Jesus for being in control and then just going with the flow. That's what works best for me. I appreciate Larry sharing his philosophy on the 9 to 5 grind. You know, having to go to work day after day, week after week, month after month, getting a few vacations here and there, having the weekends, you know, a little bit of time left at the end of the day to do things, spend time with family and projects and hobbies. It really is a major part of life, and we have to wrap our minds around it in ways that enable us to do it and do it successfully. Again, everybody has different ways of doing that. For me, I was always very thankful for the work that I had, that I could provide food for the family. I never looked at it as heavy drudgery or senseless, mindless spinning of wheels. I always felt quite fortunate, and I still do. You know, I teach wilderness survival and technical rescue for a living. It's very rewarding, different than the normal 9 to 5 grind for sure, but still there's a lot of work involved and a lot of time spent on the computer and social media trying to drum up business and trying to get good classes and avoid bad classes. It's a lot of work, and I enjoy it, and I'm very thankful to Jesus for the opportunity to teach survival and rescue. Maybe you'll call someday and want to hook up and have me come to your area and teach a class. It's kind of cool to see Jose doing something like I did, building a boat so he can access areas of Quatsino Sound that will improve his food gathering. He saw a river off in the distance and was thinking of how good the salmon fishing would be there. And I was also impressed with how calmly he handled it when the gunnel board broke. That was a lot of work, a lot of time spent, and it really set him back quite a ways. But he just went, sat down, just kind of meditated, gathered his thoughts, and didn't allow that big time problem and obstacle to get him down or to make him angry. So again, you know, everybody deals with anger in a different way. I can appreciate Larry and his outbursts of anger and tossing things and cursing. However, I have to say I appreciate Jose's technique better, just being calm about it, regrouping, getting the job done. Once again, we see Nicole's gill net scoring big time, catching another huge salmon. Lots of food. That lady is not starving at all. I'm so thankful that she can have so much food out there and come by it relatively easily. As you know, a gill net does all the fishing for you. You don't have to be there to catch it. You can go out and do all the other jobs that surviving requires and still be catching fish. And I'm glad the bears aren't coming and raiding her net and stealing her fish. They seem to have a very good relationship and a perfect symbiotic arrangement. I'm glad for her. Now Nicole is dealing with the death of her stepson. You know, it's about, while she was out there, it was during that time that it became raw and real for her. And I'm thankful that she was able to process it. I'm also thankful that the editors did such a classy job of portraying it in a way that wasn't overwhelming for the rest of us. Very tastefully, tactfully done. Thank you, editors, for that. And Nicole, thank you for sharing, and I understand the loss of a loved one. I lost my daughter, and I feel for you, sister. I really like the scary faces that Randy was making. There was times when, you know, just talking to the camera brought out funny things, and you just felt like playing with it. You never expected that the editors would include it in your segment and your package, but in this case they did. So Larry, excuse me, Randy, here's an ugly face. Not nearly as good as yours and your sister's, I'm sure, but it's fun to do it. It is so wonderful to see Randy after 2 weeks catching substantial food. That first fish that he caught was my favorite one. It was in the shark family, so it didn't have real bones, and you can cook it and eat it all. Just the whole thing, skin, cartilage, the whole thing. Oh, is that ever a good fish? So I'm so glad, Randy, that you got that one and another one, and that you're starting to eat well. Man, you went a long time between meals there, brother, and I'm glad it's working out for you. I love what Randy is doing with his shelter, building it up, supporting it, strengthening it, and making that bed, throwing all those ferns in there to make it soft. Don't know if I would have put the tarp on top of it. It's kind of like sleeping in your sweat if it gets too warm. But man, his hooch is looking comfy, and it's pretty amazing. One thing that Randy was talking about was, how pointless it is to be alone on this planet. Having friends and acquaintances and a circle of society really does give purpose and meaning to life. And I agree with Randy. If something happened and I was the last person alive on the planet, I don't imagine I would want to do that very long. What would be the purpose? I mean, we were designed by Jesus to be social beings. And, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, it's very social. And we're created there in their image and likeness. Man, I cannot imagine life without Barbara, as you well know. I've made that very clear. Nor could I imagine life with just Barbara alone. Just the two of us. Yeah, I could do it, but for her and I, we're one in purpose and one in desires and things. And sure, we have lots of other things that we like that are unique to us, but we want to share with people, and we want to go places and see things that people have done. We like watching movies. We like listening to music. There's so much giftedness and talent in this world that I would hate to be deprived of that, to see all the art, the beautiful things that people create and design to make life easier and whatnot. Can't imagine living without that. In the new earth, when Jesus returns and restores paradise, I look forward to meeting all the people for years and years and years, just meeting new people all the time and see the new and cool things that they'll make. Now that would be a good planet. Well, that's the end of my commentary for episode 6. It's been nice sharing with you. I just pray that God will bless you, and until next time, hang in there. Do the best you can, and love your friends and family.